Atlas Fallen Rain of Sand. Bro, what the f was that? Rain of Sand is one of those games that snuck up on me like a stray dog that just wants to play fetch, but it looks like it might bite your freaking face off. I didn't go in expecting much, just some flashy combat, a whole lot of sandy, and probably a bunch of forgettable story beats. I was fully prepared to uninstall it halfway through and move on to something shinier, longer, and more relevant, really. But guess what? I didn't. I played through the whole game from start to finish, and even some of the endgame content as well. And look, I had a really good time. Let me be clear, this game is not a masterpiece. It's nowhere near that. It won't rewrite the history books of gaming lore. And you probably won't even see it on any game of the year list, contenders, shit, all of that stuff. But it doesn't need to be, because where it counts the most. And I hope that makes sense, because the game is freaking fun. Especially in a time where it feels like every single game out there, every single RPG is like 60 hours to just complete a tutorial, and it requires a freaking blood oath to get into the actual game. So let's talk about what the Atlas Fallen Rain of Sand was, if it's any good, and why 2025 needs more games like this game. Look, let's be real, man. The history of this game didn't exactly set the stage for confidence. The original Atlas Fallen was, well, mediocre at the very best. It had potential, but let's be honest, it felt a bit half-baked, and by half-baked, I mean raw as all hell. The kind of game where you could see what they were kinda trying to do, but nothing really came together in the end. So when the Rain of Sand kind of re-release upgrade thingy-majig really dropped, I had low expectations. I was thinking to myself, maybe I'll get like 30 minutes of cool gameplay and then I'll bounce to something more better. What I got instead was tight moment-to-moment gameplay that actually kept me in it. The combat, look, the combat is shockingly good. It works on this momentum system and speed. You really have to be on the front foot every single freaking second of every combat scenario, because the longer you wait, the more you kind of turtle, the more damage you end up taking. But there's this give and go kind of thing with the momentum, where the more you do damage, the more your momentum builds, the bigger your weapon gets. But conversely, you take more damage the bigger your weapon is. I hope that makes any sense. But it's this kind of system where you get to slot abilities according to the momentum build-up thing, and it's just fun. It's so cool to kind of mix and match abilities, upgrade them, do your own kind of build, if you will, and you can really go crazy with it as well. The best way I could probably describe it is if Devil May Cry had a freaking baby with a sand demon and raised it on energy drinks in anime, because anime, man, of course. The feeling of being on the front foot all the time, no waiting around, no clunky cooldowns, really made each encounter feel like a mini adrenaline spike. You don't just fight, you gotta perform. And the game kind of rewards you for being stylish with how you chain your abilities and dash around like a caffeinated tornado. It's not the most polished system in the world, I gotta be honest, man. Sometimes inputs feel a bit floaty or don't really connect at all. Not just in the way that you expect, but just clearly not at all. You just miss most of your attacks. But it's fun, and honestly, that's what matters most. And speaking of fun, man, traversal in this game, it's weirdly satisfying. You get this glide ability that lets you surf around the sand like you're cosplaying the Silver Surfer himself, and it just feels freaking good. Open spaces aren't just big empty plots of land for you to just get from A to B in 7 freaking hours. It's actually meaningful. You get to fight enemies along the way. You get to do side quests, which I don't want to talk about side quests because they're gash, they're ass, they're trash, they're all of that, but they let you fight more monsters, and that's the fun part of this game. So the more the merrier. I'm happy to listen to someone talk in a very calm voice. The protagonist speaks in a very calm voice with everyone, but then ends up smacking them upside the head. This could have easily been one of those games with just big empty plots of land that you just zip around, like Forspoken, for example, where it's not really a pretty land, but it's a big land, and you just go, and you go from objective to objective. In here, it's actually fun to kind of zip around, jump, dash, do all that dodge and stuff, as it kind of respects your time in a way, and that's rare these days. And the game is also fully in co-op, which, oh my god, like, this game is one of those games that you would play by yourself and think, man, I wish I had a broski zipping around with me, and that would be awesome. And it is awesome because there is co-op in this game, and you can play it from start to finish, which is something that I feel like more games should do these days, man. Have single player games be co-op, because it's just fun. Now look, I can't really do a review on the co-op experience of this game because you know, I don't got no friends, man. I'll be honest. I got nobody to play with. Just be by myself, man. So if you want to be a friend, Subscribe to the channel, man. Please, man. Subscribe to the freaking channel. That was everything perfect in this game. At least I make it sound like it, but no, man. Unfortunately not. Absolutely not, really. The game still has jank. Performance-wise, it's mostly better than the original, but there are dips, especially when you're in a sandstorm and the giant eye in the sky decides to nuke you mid-battle. Frames drop, controls hitch, and you're just trying to survive while your console sounds like it's taken off a freaking runway. Also, whoever greenlit that HDR implementation in the game must have done it with their monitor turned off, because it's just horrible. It is terrible. Everything turns into this weird browish gray smear, like someone rubbed Vaseline on your screen and called it desert atmosphere. Like, pro tip, man, turn your HDR off immediately. The game looks way better without it, man. Crisper textures, clearer lighting, and you can actually see the colors that they meant for you to see, not this weird brownish filter. Voice acting, it's way better this time around. Admittedly, they added a bunch of voice acting in the game, as well as changed the main protagonist's voice, which they don't do that a lot these days in gaming, so it's a refreshing change to see. Like I said, he speaks in a very calm voice while he's killing everyone around him, but it's cool. I liked it. Overall, it was manageable. Now, what wasn't manageable pretty much at all and was really annoying was the final boss in the game. Look, I'm gonna go on a bit of a tangent, if you will, a bit of a rant here, because I feel like it should be talked about, because not a lot of people talk about it. Now, you can skip this to the end if you want, if you don't want to listen to me ramble on, but for the sake of spoilers, I'm gonna call the boss of this game Shmilos. Throughout the game, you meet Shmilos and you kind of want to fight him at the end, of course, because he's the main evil guy in the game. It's been building up in a way where fights are cool, fights are fun, they're engaging. You get somewhat big set piece fights with certain enemies, and then the enemies around the world, as well as elites enemies that you get to fight. Those are cool, those are fun. But then when you get to Shmilos his damn self, man, it is just annoying. The whole fight is just, it feels like the exact opposite of everything the game has done up until that point. And it feels very weird because it's the climax of the freaking game, and it's such an annoying slog to fight this Shmilos mother that it just turned me off the game almost completely. Now, I did it with a sad face on my face. I did it like that. Well, instead of the rest of the fights being in a way where I was actually smiling throughout because the combat was fun. But man, Shmilos, that guy was a bitch. But anyway, despite all of that, I still liked it. And that does say a lot, because in 2025, man, gaming is full of titles that are either 200-hour long life simulators or massive AAA open world slogs that all just start to blur together. Rain of Sand is an older game, but it dares to do something we desperately need more of. Just a fun, decently short, semi-janky, and affordable experience that respects your time. It's not trying to be The Witcher 4 or God of War Super Dead Edition. It's a game that knows what it's doing. It gives you some flashy powers, lets you glide through a desert, punch up some monsters, and call it a freaking day. And honestly, we need more games like that. Not every game has to reinvent the damn wheel or try to be your new digital lifestyle. Sometimes you just want to log in, smack a sand creature in the face, collect some shiny loot, and move on with your life to the next game. Now, should you play this game? Man, absolutely you should play this game. I saw it on GG Deals the other day for like $2. The amount of game you get here for $2 is more than you'd get from some AA or AAA titles. I'll be very honest. It's also on Game Pass. You can get it on there. I don't know if it's on PlayStation Plus, but you can get it for like dirt cheap, man. And it's a good solid, like, I'd say 10 to 15 hours at most to kind of get your fill of Rain of Sands. But it's a fun game overall, and I really do recommend it, especially because it's such a different kind of combat experience that you'd find in most modern RPGs these days. And it's fun. If you're the type of gamer who lives for perfect mechanics, deep lore, and 4K HDR showcase moments, this might not be your jam in all honesty. But if you like to try new stuff, appreciate weird combat systems that grow on you slowly but steadily, and enjoy games that aren't afraid to just be okay and fun, then Atlas Fallen Rain of Sand, man, it is 100% worth your time. But at the end of the day, what the do I know, man? I'm just a gamer on the internet who really enjoyed his time with Atlas Fallen Rain of Sandies. But I really hope that more people will talk about it as well, especially now with these games coming out that are just so intense that you don't get these kind of games these days. It's more of a harking back to older school RPGs, platformers, action adventure games, these kind of jams where it's just fun. It's not trying to be anything special apart from just being an okay, good time. And that's something that I feel like Atlas Fallen Rain of Sand, and I gotta say that that name every time. Nails. It hits the brief. It hits the nail on the freaking head. But what do you think, man? What did you think of Atlas Fallen Reign of Sand? Was the game good? Was it fun? Was it just okay? Any and all comments, man. Take this video a long way to the greatness of the tubes, and I'd love to hear your thoughts, man. If you made it to this part of the video, you might as well subscribe to the channel, man. Join the group, join the party, join the party. We're on our way to the greatness of the tubes, and I'd love to have you on board this ride to amazingness. In any case, I've been your broski. Enjoy the meme in the outro. I don't really know how to end this video, so click this link right here that I have to check on the other monitor to watch me ramble on about Atomfall and what the fuck that game is and why it should be talked about more, because that's an amazing game as well. Man, gaming is so fun. In any case, I hope you guys have a great day wherever you're from, whichever time of day you watch this at. I've been your broski. Keep on trucking, my dudes. Peace.